Hello, I'm Jennifer Woodward. I'm super happy that you are here to learn the 3 secrets for an easy perimenopause. Let's dive right in. I hope you stay till the end because I do have a really cool bonus for you. This is one of the exact suggested meal plans I use with my private clients. So it is 7 full days of perimenopause supporting foods plus shopping lists plus a meal plan. So stick around till the end and you will get this as a bonus. Easy Perimenopause is going to walk you through the process of just 3 simple steps. It involves 3 cutting edge functional labs that your doctor has no idea about. And this whole process is going to take 3 months or less. Now, this masterclass is for you if you're a woman between the ages of 35 and 50 who's suddenly been hit with weight gain, sleep issues, mood swings, brain fog, and tummy issues like gas and bloating and diarrhea and constipation. If you've tried everything to lose weight and get your energy back, if you are seriously running yourself ragged from the time you wake up in the morning until the time you go to bed at night, and you don't know how you're going to handle one more stinking thing in your crazy life, and this masterclass is for you if every once in a while you're not going to be super offended if I accidentally let a cuss word fly. Now, if you're struggling with 5 to 11 pounds of sudden weight gain, especially around your tummy, and if you're not able to fall asleep or stay asleep, if you've got this low energy that's just bordering on complete exhaustion, if you're struggling with crazy brain fog and your periods are getting weird, like you've got more blood clots, your PMS is like divorce worthy, if you've got increasing cramps around your period or ovulation, if your headaches are getting worse, and if you've got that really weird kind of like brown crumbly period blood, in conjunction with these like really increasingly concerning tummy issues, like you can't eat the same foods that you used to eat. You never know what your tummy's going to do. I am here to tell you, sister, you are not alone and it is not your fault. And at this point, I just want to hop in and say, hello, I am a real person. My name is Jennifer. I am super happy to welcome you to this masterclass. I love that you're here. I'm going to take my face off camera just so you can focus on the information, but I did just want to officially introduce myself and say, welcome aboard. And I hope this information is really, really helpful for you. So definitely, it's not your fault that you have been struggling with these things. In fact, you've probably been told that you have to eat less food and exercise a ton more in order to lose weight. So you, like many of my clients, have probably tried counting macros, getting plenty of protein, maybe even trying, the vegan diet or carnivore diet, or maybe you've spent a few months doing Arbonne, Optavia, or Isagenix cleanses. Man, been there. If you're here today, I know it's because you're struggling with weight gain, exhaustion, super wonky hormones, brain fog, and even mood symptoms like anxiety, depression, or irritability. And you just want to feel good. You are ready to effortlessly fit into your favorite clothes, your yoga pants, your jeans, that dress that's sitting in the back of your closet. You want to feel grounded and present with your family instead of always thinking about your body or your symptoms or your weight. You want to sleep soundly and wake up refreshed instead of getting up between 1 and 3 every morning and not being able to go back to sleep. And you really just want to have balanced moods and a healthy period. You want to be that woman that other people can rely on because you have your stuff together. Almost let it fly there. All right. Who is Jennifer? So hello. This is me. I'm here for a reason. When I had my 3rd son, I have 4 kids. And after the birth of my 3rd son, I just remember laying in my bed. It was super hot. I was sweaty. It was the middle of the night. I couldn't see anything in my room because it was so dark. I was starting to sweat. I was feeling panicky. I could feel my heart rate rising and rising and rising because I couldn't sleep. I knew that next morning I was going to feel exhausted. It had been months since I had had a good night's sleep. I remember my brain just rolling and rolling through all of these thoughts that were just overwhelming to me. Like, how am I going to take care of my children? How am I going to prepare them food? How am I going to, care for them when I have a headache and I'm exhausted and I can barely function? I just remember feeling awful and so scared and hopeless about the future. I had this identity crisis. My whole life, I've always been healthy. I always worked out. I always ate great food. I always made sure I was taking care of myself. I would say yes to everything because I was the one with all of the energy. And so to be laying in bed, sweaty and panicked at 3 a.m. was a different feeling for me. It really did give me this existential crisis. And at that point, since I wasn't sleeping, it was really difficult to get out of bed every single day. And if you've ever had little ones, they could get up at 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. When my kids started getting up, no matter how much sleep I got the night before, I had to start getting up and starting my day. My identity and my true joy was my family. I loved being a mom, but I didn't know how I was going to get to serve them well when I couldn't sleep, when my hormones were an absolute mess, when my hair was falling out, when I couldn't lose the baby weight, and when my mood was all over the place. What I really desired was to learn how to heal myself because I had gone from doctor to doctor to doctor at this point. I'd gone to my OBGYN. I had gone to my primary care physician. I'd gone to a chiropractor. I'd gone to a muscle tester, and all I'd been offered were supplements or birth control or Prozac. And I knew that wasn't what I needed to actually feel good. I did all of the diets, believe me when I say all of the diets. I did all of the exercise and I did everything that Instagram and Google and Facebook told me to do, but I still felt fat, fatigued, and frustrated. And man, I could not sleep. So here's what changed. I came across a program called Functional Diagnostic Nutrition. The cool thing about FDN is that it's data driven. It is all based on functional lab tests that I had never heard of, that my doctor had never heard of, and that my husband loved because it was all fact based. He was like, wait, you get real data instead of just guessing? Okay, all right, we're in. So after running these labs and doing the protocols that were just for my body, not for my sister, not for my mom, not for my best friend, just for my body based off of these labs, I started to feel better. I started sleeping. I started losing weight. My mood became balanced and my period became balanced. And I wanted to share this information with others. Naturally, since so many women are feeling cruddy, I had women begging me to share this information with them. And once these women became clients and then my clients started seeing results, they became more energetic and confident. And I became more energetic and confident. And I could serve my clients and my family better. I just want to let you know, I'm not full of it. I have been where you are, like you can see here. I kind of struggled my whole life being overweight. I was always a chubby one. I remember my grandfather, when I was 12 years old, offering me $20. He took it out of his pocket and put it on the table and said, I will give you this $20 bill if you can lose 10 pounds. And I had all of the feels. I was embarrassed. I was angry. I was confused. I was also motivated because, man, that was $20. So I did everything in my little 12-year-old brain to lose those 10 pounds. I did it and I gained that $20, but I lost a lot of my identity. I lost a lot of my drive and my autonomy. And I began to get really, really confused about who I was. I acquired an eating disorder when I was 15 years old that has ebbed and flowed for a long period of time. And I spent 15 years in this, hopeless and miserable cycle of trial and error, eating less food, working out more, trying all the supplements and the pills. I have been where you are. To my life, it really only took a few months to where I had more energy. I was sleeping better. My libido was back. And look at how cute my husband is. I want to have a healthy, bedroom life with that cutie. And so getting my libido back was kind of a huge benefit. I was finally starting to lose weight and my tummy issues were fading away. So you can see me there on the left with my goofy, cute kids. I remember that day. I came to that photo shoot kind of tipsy. I'd been drinking that day because I was miserable in my life. I knew I was going to have to put on a dress and take a photo for our family picture card. And I did not want to do that because I felt fat and gross and not healthy. But after doing these things that I'm going to teach you today, again, my digestion's better, my weight is stable, I have more energy, and I just feel like myself again. Here's a time where I need to tell you I am not a doctor. I don't play a doctor on TV. I am just Jennifer. I am a health coach. I'm an educator. I'm a teacher. I don't diagnose, treat, or prescribe. I am here to walk alongside you as your coach. Now, what actually changed for me? Well, my breakthroughs were these 3 things. Number 1, If somebody is stuck in fight or flight mode and their nervous system is overactive all the time, nothing will change, not one thing. Number 2, without access to the right functional labs, not the labs that your doctor runs, not these weird labs you see on Instagram, but the right functional labs that really give us information about your body, your health is not going to change. Number 3, getting that accountability and fixing your food, specifically your minerals and protein, is really what is going to change your health and your life. So let's dive right in. Let's talk about point number 1. So what I want you to do is get out your pen and paper. I really want you to take notes. These are things that are going to help you no matter if you decide to, stay to the end or not. If you decide you want to work with me or not, this is still going to be really helpful information for you. And I want you to take some notes. So number 1, how we actually get results, not, just keep trying and trying and trying, but actually get results from your diet and exercise routine without working out harder or longer and without cutting calories lower. Now, you've probably been told that you need to eat less, exercise more, increase your protein, and optimize your macros in order to lose weight. But check it out. Exercising more and eating less is going to F up your hormones. And when you exercise more and you eat less, it leads to increasingly worse perimenopause symptoms. But I don't want you to feel bad, right? It took me 15 years to figure this out. And everyone tells you to do this. If you're on Google, if you're listening to your doctors, if you're with traditional health coaches who don't run labs or don't know this information, or if you're just on Instagram, you're going to believe all of this nonsense. And so inevitably, this is what you thought worked. But here's the thing. You can exercise more and you can diet more, but research shows us that experts know as many as 80 to 95% of dieters gain back the weight they've worked so hard to lose. And you've seen this. If you go on anyone's Facebook and you're looking at their Optavia or their Isogenics or their Arbonne results, you're seeing people get smaller and smaller and smaller, and they're so excited and they're posting that their Optavia results aren't, normal, that little disclaimer on the bottom. And they look great. And then all of a sudden on Facebook, 2 months, 3 months later, you notice, not judgy, but you just notice that they're back to their normal size. And you're like, what? I thought you just lost 20 pounds. How does that happen? Well, it's because the body has a really tight set point. And if you're not changing all sorts of things, instead of just cutting calories and exercise more, 80 to 95% of us are going to gain back that weight. Now, here is a study from the Archives of Internal Medicine from 1996 that essentially tells us that we cannot keep off weight loss if we're just doing the traditional things. Here we see that only 12%, that's almost 1 in 10, 12% of the subjects who had lost weight during this program, and they lost a considerable amount, 22 kilograms, right? So that's a lot of weight that these dieters lost on the program that they did. But only 12% maintained 75%, not even 100% of their weight loss, right? 75% of their weight loss, and 57% maintained at least 5% of the loss, which is really negligible. And you guys, 40%, 4 out of every 10 gained back more than they lost during the diet. And we're starting to see this even out there in, social media and Ozempic land, that people, when they go off something like Ozempic or semaglutide, are reporting gaining back more weight than they had lost during the course of their shot. So it is really, really hard for their body to keep weight off. Let's introduce the protein leverage hypothesis. This is one of my favorite things. I love talking about the protein leverage hypothesis. This is a concept that was popularized in the 80s by a team of researchers. Most recently, it's been brought to the forefront of nutrition research by Dr. Ted Naiman and Marty Kendall. You're going to hear me reference them multiple times during the course of our nutrition segment, just because I love the work they do. They are science-based, they're data-based, and we know that the protein leverage hypothesis works. Now, what is the protein leverage hypothesis? It's this: humans require protein to survive, and we, especially women, will continue to ingest food until we get the minimum amount of protein our bodies need. So let that sink in for a minute, right? We are going to eat and eat and eat and eat until we get enough protein. I'm going to show you in a second, no one gets enough protein. When our diet doesn't contain enough protein, we're going to eat way more calories than we actually need in order to get that protein. Our body is just seeking out protein. So we can be like face deep in cereal or Oreos or ice cream or chips and salsa thinking, why are my cravings so out of control when your body is really just trying so hard to get that protein that it needs. So it's just going to keep craving food that isn't necessarily the best for you. Now check this out. Conversely, we actually eat less calories when we have access to foods with a higher protein percentage. So if you just restrict calories and you just exercise, until the cows come home, this is going to activate your stress response, your fight or flight response. Your nervous system is either going to be in sympathetic nervous system dominance mode, which is fight or flight. And that's where your heart rate increases and your breathing rate increases and your blood pressure increases. And your body is literally getting ready to either run or take on a fight, a stressor. That's where a lot of us live our lives. We get up really early with an alarm clock. We don't eat breakfast. We drink coffee on an empty stomach. We run to, drop the kids off at school. We run to work. We skip snacks. We might work through lunch because we know we have to pick up carpool at 3, 4, or 5 p.m. We are really just tearing through our day with no time to relax. Then we get home and we're trying to figure out what we have to make for dinner for our kids. Then afternoon carpool and sports begins. And at 4, 5, 6 p.m., we are, pouring ourselves 40 ounces of wine, and eating goldfish crackers and Oreos because we haven't eaten all day and we're stuck in this stress response. So the body goes into this biological compensatory mechanism where it's like, I just need food. I just need sustenance. So I'm going to get whatever I can in this cupboard looking for my protein, but hey, it's not there. So my cravings are just going to increase and compound throughout the day. That is being stuck in that stress response, my friends. The other side of the nervous system is your parasympathetic nervous system. That is called the rest and digest part of our nervous system. That is where we want to be. Though I can tell you, you can be too far into parasympathetic, and that's when your body becomes frozen and you kind of shut down and go into almost like a hibernation state. That's something that I see regularly on lab work for my clients. So we really want this balance. We want to balance in between parasympathetic and sympathetic. But what I find for most of my women is that they're too far on either side of that spectrum, and therefore their body cannot heal. Now, that stress response being overactivated is going to make it damn near impossible for you to lose weight, especially in a low protein environment. This is something, like I said, we can see on lab tests. So this is a snapshot from the Dutch test, the dried urine test for comprehensive hormones, one of my foundational tests in my practice. I run it on 100% of my clients. And we can see here that, just through a urine sample, the body is way overproducing cortisol, which is the main stress hormone. Free cortisol, how much is available to the body, is also elevated. And this is a crazy high cortisol pattern. This person wakes up with no energy at all, but then all of a sudden, this could be from eating foods that they're sensitive to. It could be from drinking coffee on an empty stomach or racing to a CrossFit or Orange Theory workout instead of eating breakfast. That cortisol level just shoots up super high and they're stuck in fight or flight mode. And they can't even get back down into normal cortisol levels throughout the rest of the day. So this is a picture of someone who is not sleeping, probably experiencing panic attacks, and most likely anxiety. The protein leverage hypothesis, and again, this work is from Optimizing Nutrition. This is the work of Marty Kendall. All of his work is available for free online. So this is from an online source that's put out there to the world. But I just love the work he does. And essentially what this chart is showing us is that we can see that most Americans are eating about 14% of the diet of protein. Now, this aligns when your diet is 14% protein, you are getting the most amount of calories as possible because you are not getting enough protein. When you get enough protein, it shuts down your appetite, so you're not seeking out more calories. So most women are getting about 14% of their dietary calories from protein, which increases the total amount of calories that they're going to eat throughout the day. Now, their analysis does suggest that once your protein is about 20% of the diet, then look at calorie ingestion drops off because you're satisfied. So it's only a short jump between 14 and 20% increasing, not the amount of calories you get, but the percentage of protein in the diet that's going to increase your satiety and decrease your cravings. Here is some research from 2008 from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition that shows the current protein intake for Americans. And this is most Americans, right? And we are seeing here, this is females aged 19 through 50, and they're getting right around 70 grams of protein a day. So somewhere between 68 and 72 grams of protein a day, an average of about 70 grams of protein a day. That is not nearly enough. Now, again, that's about 12 to 14% of the diet is protein, and that's what most women are getting. Now, if we only eat 70 grams of protein a day, ladies, we actually are going to spread the rest of our calories out naturally over carbs and fat. So if we're getting about 2,000 calories a day, 70 grams of protein, we're going to eat about 250 grams of carbohydrates a day, which can absolutely be enough for a woman to gain weight or not be able to lose weight. And our fat most likely is going to be around 80 grams. Now, when I have women track, they actually report eating way more fat than this, and they do report most likely eating more carbohydrates. So this is like best case scenario if you're eating 70 grams of protein a day. But oftentimes women will eat even more calories than 2,000 and way more fat than 80, because I see this. I have my women track, and they do report eating more fat and more carbs than I have on this chart. Now, 70 grams of protein equates to about 280 calories. Man, I could take down 280 calories in a snack, right? So if you're eating your entire protein for a day, it's, as a typical American woman, that's only going to be 280 calories, which is approximately 14% of the diet. And we know, that women get between 12 and 14% of their diet from protein. So you can see here, 70 grams of protein is really not enough for satiation and can increase your chances of overeating carbs and overeating fat. Marty Kendall, again, Optimizing Nutrition, has this really great concept he calls the bliss point. And the bliss point is where you eat the maximum amount of calories you possibly can. He does say that the bliss point of weight gain is between 12.5 and 13% of your calories. So if you, like most American women, are getting only 12% to 14% of your calories through protein, you are going to eat a larger amount of calories. That bliss point, right? You aren't satisfied enough with protein, and so you're going to overeat on carbohydrates and fat. But check this out, you guys. Protein is important, and this is the missing piece. This is the missing piece for macro counting and for, optimizing your diet. Protein is not everything. You must focus on your minerals as well. Again, this is the missing piece. Now, when you get the recommended amount of vitamins and minerals daily, and this is just the RDA, like this is what the government recommends that you get from minerals and vitamins, you can actually reduce the amount of calories that you eat by between 8 and 30% without even trying. This article is from Minerals, Hunger, and Satiety from Optimizing Nutrition. That's where I got this chart. And it shows that when you have, enough sodium, enough copper, and especially enough potassium, your calories are going to naturally drop by about 30%. If you get enough sodium, your calories are going to drop by about 8%, and so on and so forth. So you don't even have to try to diet. If you can optimize your nutrients, again, especially things like potassium, selenium, calcium, then you are going to naturally eat less food. And when I have my women track, no one eats enough minerals, like no one. I mean, people are getting less than half of what the RDA is for potassium, which by the way is 4,700 milligrams a day. When I have my girls track, I'm lucky if they're getting 2,000 milligrams of potassium. So I'd encourage you, try it. Track your diet, write everything down in an app like Chronometer, which is my favorite because that actually tracks your minerals, Chronometer, and see, are you getting anywhere close to 4,700 milligrams of potassium or sufficient selenium, calcium, magnesium, copper, zinc, iron, manganese, and sodium. I'll tell you, I have a hard time doing this, and I work on this every single day. It is really hard to get all of your minerals unless you're really focused on your diet. All right. And that's something obviously I have expertise in and love to teach to my clients. And it's something that is the missing piece for weight loss, energy optimization, and really nice hormones in perimenopause. So here are the recommended daily allowances for weight regulating vitamins and minerals. And again, no one gets these. We can see you're supposed to get about 4,000 milligrams of sodium. That one's a little bit easier. Potassium is actually 5,700 milligrams a day. Totally misspoke with that 4,700. It's 5,700. You should be getting about 570 milligrams of elemental magnesium every single day, 1,650 milligrams of calcium every single day, almost 2 milligrams of copper every single day, and 25 milligrams of iron. This is why a lot of women who are on plant-based or low meat diets are really struggling with hunger and unable to lose weight, because iron shuts down your cravings. So again, I encourage you, download the app Chronometer, Chronometer, and start tracking your food and see if you get anywhere near these nutrients every day, on average every week. And then you're going to understand why you can't lose weight, why your hormones are a mess, and why you have no energy. And if you're not getting the right protein or minerals, you're not going to lose weight, and you're certainly not going to change your body composition. I just want to introduce you to a couple of my fantastic clients. This is Michelle. She's fantastic. In 1 month, she was down about 6 pounds. She came off of caffeine and processed foods. And check this out. Her cravings and her impulsive eating stopped. Okay. They didn't decrease. They stopped. Her period came after being off of her period, for a few months, and only lasted 4 days with no issues. She actually started using the Diva Cup, which is awesome. And she reported that she's not even bothered by her periods at all, especially while she's working, on one of these programs. Love what she did. Michelle is definitely, one of us, right? She's got children. She's a full-time professional. She's a marriage and family counselor, and she is in the throes of perimenopause. So she, like so many others, was able to reverse a lot of her symptoms in way less than 90 days. This is Lana, and she's fantastic. In 1 month, she, lost 8 pounds. She had a period during the course of our program, which was in September, and her last period was in January, obviously in perimenopause, but doing the things that I teach her, that this program teaches, healthy periods can be restored for a longer period of time. She's sleeping while her clothes are comfy, and she reminded herself, man, she is not broken. She can lose weight when she's doing the things that we teach her in this program. Her cravings are less, and she feels satisfied. That is huge, you guys. Let's move on to point number 2. How do you get the right data on your body? Again, not your sister, your mom, or your best friend, but your body, without hearing from a doctor, oh, sorry, honey, that's nothing, right? Basically, it's all in your head. Or I looked at the labs and there's nothing wrong with you. Or my favorite, oh, here's the pill. Or here's some Prozac, or here's some Prilosec, right? We know as women, we have that gut intuition that none of these things are the right answers that our doctors give us. And so getting the right data can really render all of these dismissive points obsolete. You, like so many of us, myself and many of my clients included, have probably been told, hey, your labs are normal. Or again, here's the pill, some Prozac, some Prilosec, but this is dead wrong. And here's why. Most doctors are not doing in-depth lab testing. They're doing standard of care lab testing, kind of like cattle mill, right? Come in, get your TSH tested. Maybe I'll test your T4. Most doctors have really high volume practices. They are influenced by drug reps. Take this from me, because I used to sell drugs, legal drugs, but I sold drugs to doctors for many years. I was a drug rep, and I knew that if I could provide the better snacks, the greater, dinners, the more perks on the golf course, that my doctors were going to write my drugs, because it was easy for them. I gave them the research. I told them, I'll pay for their golfing Friday, and they would write my drugs. So it's not really bio-individual. We do know that doctors are influenced by the fact that they have to get a lot of patients through the door in order to make their ends meet. So they'll give you a pill to make you feel better, kind of, but mostly just to get you out of there. We know that perimenopause symptoms, mood swings, energy issues, period problems, not being able to sleep, tummy issues, these are not a pill deficiency, right? It's not that you can't sleep because you're not on the pill. So when a doctor gives you the pill for acne or for period problems, it's not actually solving any issues. We also know that mood swings are not a Prozac deficiency. How do we know that? Well, your great grandmother didn't need Prozac to have normal moods, right? And it's not like that just by giving a pill like Prozac or Lexapro or what have you, that we can actually solve your mood swings, especially those in perimenopause. And it's not your fault. It's not your fault for feeling like you have to just be okay with this. Your doctor's like, well, your lab works normal. And so you believe your doctor because they're your doctor. You're really tempted to believe it's true. But you, like most of my clients and like myself, know that there is something deeper going on. And I want to tell you, sister, that your gut feeling is right. Your doctor is running the wrong labs, or they're not running any labs at all. And they're just giving you like the pill or Prozac without actually running labs. It's ludicrous. Now, if, a doctor is telling you, a woman, that nothing is wrong with you without running the right hormone, gut, and mineral labs, this is like trying to bake a gluten-free cake without eggs or without baking soda or without vanilla. You're going to get something that comes out of the oven, but it's not going to look, feel, or taste right because major structural components are missing. So clearly, not having the right information, it's keeping you in the dark and it's preventing you from feeling better. So what is the solution? Well, it is the right functional lab test. That's my cute friend Nitty right there holding a GM. So Dana is one of my private clients. When we met on our intake call, she told me she's always weight trained. She's always eating healthy. She was also a complete insomniac. Now she also had those gut symptoms. She got gassy. She bloated really easily. For those last 3 years, she had been gaining weight and her insomnia and bloating had been going on for 10 years or more. Now we ran all the labs. Check this out. We ran her Dutch test. We ran her food sensitivity test. We ran her full thyroid panel, and we ran her mineral test, her hair tissue mineral analysis. During our time together, and we spent at least 3 months together, there's a lot of things that go on in life. Her husband got super sick, and therefore she had to live in a hotel for 3 weeks right next to the hospital. She traveled to see her daughter multiple times from California to Tennessee. We navigated multiple weddings and parties. I have to say, Dana is a party animal, and I love that about her. She loves to have fun, and we didn't want to take away from her quality of life. We did implement chronometer for tracking her protein and her micronutrients. Now, between month 3 and 5, she was down 14 pounds. She was eating carbohydrates, right? Like we weren't cutting out all of her carbohydrates. She was sleeping much better. Still not perfect. We did have some work to do there, but she did report 0 bloating. So that was Dana. 14 pounds in between 3 to 5 months for someone who'd been gaining weight steadily for 3 years and not knowing why. I would say that's a huge win. Also, I just want to introduce you to some of my other clients. Lindsay knows that she can do this program as a lifestyle. It's freeing, it's exciting, and she feels empowered. And think about what we were talking about. Sometimes when you go to a regular physician, it kind of feels disempowering when you don't have the right information and when you're dismissed. But learning the principles I'm going to teach you today, getting access to the right functional labs, is very empowering, freeing, and exciting. I have Mary here who said that she slept from 9 p.m. to 1:30 a.m. last night, which might not seem like a lot for, a normal person, but man, for a perimenopausal woman, not having a hot flash for 2 days and sleeping for 4.5 hours straight without waking up is a miracle. The other thing, one of my clients said, because of, our work together, she was having bladder infections every 6 weeks, but she has not had a bladder infection in 6 months and has been seeing notable lessening in other symptoms. I love this from my client, Kat, who said, on a reel I posted on Instagram where we were talking about, thyroid labs, and actually thyroid blood work can look normal. So your doctor can say, hey, your labs look normal, but a functional practitioner who knows how to go a little bit deeper with those labs on something like the hair tissue mineral analysis can see very easily that although your blood work thyroid might look normal, your minerals are showing a different story. So when we worked on this with Kat, she was laughing because after 2 years of going back and forth with doctors, not being able to optimize her thyroid, we were able able to go in, run the labs, do the protocol, and save her from insanity, which is awesome. Kat actually ended up losing 40 pounds. And it's true. She was literally glowing, still is glowing every single time I see her. All right, let's talk about the third point here for an easy perimenopause. And this is the most important, okay? You're never going to heal yourself if you are constantly stuck in fight or flight mode. And guess what? You are. You are stuck in fight or flight mode. How do I know this? Man, you're here. You're still here. You're watching this masterclass. And this is the reason that you keep experiencing the same old symptoms, even though you've tried every diet, every exercise program, every supplement, and every shenanigan that's out there, all of the things that you have tried, and you are still experiencing symptoms, and you're still not better. So here we see from Harvard Health Publishing at Harvard Medical School that chronic stress is a really big problem. It contributes to high blood pressure, promotes the formation of artery clogging deposits, and causes brain changes. And this is where it gets real for our perimenopausal girls, right? Causes brain changes that might contribute to anxiety, depression, and addiction. So think through your wine habits, your shopping habits, your Instagram habits, your chips and salsa habits, your sugar habits, your coffee habits. Are those actually addiction, or are they due to repeated intense stress that you just can't find your way out of? Chronic stress can also contribute to overweight and obesity through direct mechanisms causing people to eat more, or indirect mechanisms, and here we are with perimenopause, by decreasing sleep and also exercise. Here we see from the Archives of Women's Mental Health in an article from 2021. This is perimenopause, you guys. This is, again, where it gets really, really real. Perimenopause is associated with significant biological, psychological, and social changes and habits and challenges. And here we see that part of the natural decrease in ovarian hormone secretion, steroid hormone levels will fluctuate. Like that's a no-brainer. That's the work of Dr. Geraldine Pryor, Dr. Laura Bryden, who say that perimenopause is characterized by wildly fluctuating levels of estrogen and very low levels of progesterone. And that's what I see every single time I am testing a Dutch test for my women in perimenopause. So due to these hormonal changes, a lot of women are going to experience, perimenopausal and menopausal complaints like hot flashes, night sweats, and sleep disturbances. But the perimenopause is also a very critical phase for the onset of depression and anxiety and other mood swings. I mean, perimenopause, even as this article says, but we know this to be true, between the ages of 35 and 50, we're raising kids, we're at the top of our game professionally, we're taking care of aging parents, we are, trying to engage in a husband-wife relationship during a really busy time in life. It's busy, it's stressful, and hormones pick up on that. Your body as a womanly being, a hormonal being, is very sensitive. And so, steroid hormone levels are going to respond to the stressors in your life, especially during that menopausal transition, which we know is perimenopause. So from that same article, we see here that these researchers found that, emotional stability, emotion regulation, self-compassion, and self-esteem are associated with resilience. And when resilience is high in perimenopause, we feel better, our well-being is better, and our mental health is better. But I challenge you to find the perimenopausal woman who has strong optimism, emotional stability, emotion regulation, self-compassion, and self-esteem. Like, it just isn't really common for perimenopausal women because they don't have the tools they need to eat well, to manage stress well, to supplement well, and to sleep well so that they can dive in to those positive character traits. Now, high resilience we see is also associated with milder perimenopausal and menopausal symptoms, as well as better psychological and then also physical well-being. So I am here to tell you that Easy Perimenopause, this program, equips you to be resilient, equips you to have emotional stability, equips you to have self-compassion so that you have better psychological and physical well-being during perimenopause. In this other article from 2011, it's talking about stress again. Now, stress leads to the serum level changes of many hormones, including glucocorticoids like cortisol, which we've already talked about, catecholamines like adrenaline and noradrenaline, growth hormone, and prolactin. Prolactin directly influences progesterone levels in the body. Now, some of these changes are really necessary for the fight or flight response to protect oneself, but some of those stressful responses can also lead to endocrine orders like obesity or gonadal dysfunction. Gonadal dysfunction refers to hormones. So this can be wonky periods or early perimenopause or PMS or PMDD. Stress can lead to changes in both cortisol, estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, DHEA, and melatonin. All right. Dr. Ray Peat, one of my all-time favorite researchers on the thyroid and metabolic flexibility and pro-metabolic diets, does tell us that stress and starvation lead to a relative reliance on the fats stored in the tissues, and the mobilization of these fats in the tissues as circulating free fatty acids contributes to a slower metabolism and also contributes to a shift away to the use of glucose for energy. So we can no longer access or rely on our glucose for energy, and it builds up in the body, it builds up in the bloodstream, and therefore it builds up in the tissue. So being stressed and then also cutting your calories lower and lower and lower and lower is essentially going to slow your metabolism and lower your energy. Let's talk a little bit about Mary. Man, I love Mary. Her Instagram name is like Merrily Mary. She's just so cute. All right. So Mary, had burnout. Her hormones were insane for a while. So working together in my program for a period of 3 to 5 months, she was able to recover from her burnout. Her hormones were back on track. Every day she reported feeling better and better. And she said that the people she loves are starting to notice how much healthier, happier, and more balanced she is. Like, what would it mean to you if your husband, your kids, your coworkers, your friends started telling you, hey, I'm totally noticing how much happier you look, how much healthier you look, how much more balanced you are. What would that mean to you in your life? Here is cute Elisa. Elisa is the mom of 2 girls with special needs, and she has a really stressful life. She works 2 jobs. She cooks special meals for her girls. And she is a really high-powered, high-performing woman, but she was eating too few calories for her body, and her whole body started to shut down. She had a list of symptoms that were 50 or more long. I know because I did her intake call, and going in and reducing her stress response, letting her body eat more calories and respond to stress better, she actually, had increased her calories and she hadn't gained weight. And her weight was actually starting to go down a little. This is so paradoxical, for us, where we think exercising more and eating less is going to get that weight down. Well, I'm here to tell you, if you're stuck in the stress response like Elisa was because she was eating too few calories, exercising, and stressing too much, she was unable to lose weight. So when we went in and increased her calories and showed her how to manage her stress, she was eating more food, but her weight was starting to go down. So what would your life look like if you woke up feeling like, yes, I get to do this again. I get to go serve my family again. I get to go to work again. I get to cook healthy meals again today, instead of feeling like, oh crap, I have to get up. I have to do this again. I don't have the energy to get through another day. What would your life look like if you could effortlessly fit into every single cute piece of clothing in your closet, or you could actually respond to your husband's, come hither stares? What if you felt grounded and centered every single day so you could enjoy your moments with your kids? I can tell you, one of the last times I went to Hawaii with my kids, I felt awful. I wasn't sleeping. I felt gross in my bathing suit. My tummy was a mess. I was constantly thinking about my tummy and my energy and my health while I was there. I couldn't focus on being present with my kids. But this last time we went, I just felt good. And I was able to be present and eat the foods I wanted to eat and sleep deeply and play with my kids and have a really, really great time. And that is life-changing for me as a mom. What if you could eat anything you wanted without fear of being bloated or, like one of my clients, Lori, having to like sprint to the bathroom, or find a spot to go, relieve yourself because you're going to have diarrhea on a road trip? What if you or your husband, that's a big one, right, didn't even realize your period was coming? You're like, oh, my period showed up. I can't even tell you the number of clients who have texted me, with like all caps or all exclamation points, like, my period came. I didn't even know it was coming. That's kind of a huge thing. Because it shows us, when period health is optimal, when period health is on point, the rest of your health kind of follows. What if you could stop wasting time on Instagram looking for answers to your health issues and just watch cute videos of Aussie doodles or tiny bunnies, right? What if you could get off Facebook? What if you could get off Dr. Google because you knew exactly what was going on with your body? So I got to tell you, we just covered the tip of the iceberg. All right. You can tell there's a lot more information that you're going to need to make all this work. You still need to know what your functional lab tests want to tell you. This is why we test and we don't guess. That is my mantra. That's the FDN mantra. We run the labs and we don't just guess at what's going on with your body. Because likely you've already spent years, if not decades, guessing. So you need to get the real data on your own body, not just random information for what works for some other woman. You need the Dutch test, the dried urine test for comprehensive hormones that gives us a urine sample over about 12 hours, kind of similar to like pregnancy test technology where you're just like peeing on a stick. And that tells us over those 12 to 24 hours what your estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, cortisol, melatonin, B12, indican, dopamine, all these amazing markers look like. And when we have that data, we can really go in and optimize your hormones. Your GI map is an at-home stool test that looks for markers of digestive function and dysfunction. It looks for things like small intestinal bacterial overgrowth or parasites, which a lot of my clients have and don't realize. And when we clear out those parasites, then all of a sudden they can fit into their yoga pants and jeans again because they're not bloated all the time. It looks for markers of gluten sensitivity. It looks for markers of H. pylori, all really, really powerful tools to go in and optimize digestion. Your functional lab tests also want to tell you a lot about your minerals. Now, we talked a lot about minerals and vitamins. The HTMA or hair tissue mineral analysis gives us a ton of information on your mineral levels, specifically sodium, potassium, calcium, and magnesium. Looks for heavy metals. Are you, overrun with mercury or nickel or aluminum? It looks for ratios like your thyroid ratio, your adrenal ratio, your stress ratio, your blood sugar ratio. All of these things are very powerful tools for you to have to go in with this FDN opt-in model of self-care and really start balancing your hormones and balancing your body so you can feel your best in perimenopause. You also need to know how to implement the right diet for a perimenopausal woman. You've already tried every diet out there and they don't work. You need to get the right information for what works for your body. Now, I did teach you, we need to optimize protein. We need to optimize minerals. But again, that's a really bio-individual thing. Every woman is a little bit different and you need the right diet for you as a perimenopausal woman. You also need to keep your body at a fight or flight mode. And this, my friend, is the most important thing. It wasn't until I cracked this part of the code that I started sleeping through the night, pooping every morning, feeling resilient instead of constantly overwhelmed, losing weight, and then the biggest one, having healthy, normal periods, even though I'm fully in perimenopause. Easy perimenopause is the new way for you to gracefully sail through perimenopause while loving, not just enduring, but loving your metabolism, loving your digestion, loving your energy, and loving your life without intense exercise or starvation. This is the program. This is, the point of our presentation today. I do want to help you. This is my expertise and it's something I want to share with you. Let's do a quick breakdown of what you're going to get. It is a 12-week program. In week 1, we are going to work together to get that Dutch test out to you, your GI map and your HTMA, so we can start gathering data on your own body. Now, every single week, you are going to get a brand new suggested meal plan. I'm not a registered dietitian. This isn't solving any, actual medical issues. This is just a suggested meal plan, but it is comprehensive. It gives you recipes, a shopping list, a full color meal plan, and an ability to titrate, how much you're cooking that week for yourself or for your family. All of my recipes have been tested and tried. They are family, especially husband approved. So you can cook the same meals for you as you're going to cook for the rest of your family, and everyone is going to like them and everyone is going to benefit from them. In week 1, you also have masterclasses on the program introduction, on lab testing, on onboarding, and the foundations of what we're going to be doing together. And this is kind of what sets us apart. This is a one-to-one program. You are going to meet with me every single week on Zoom. We are going to do a one-to-one onboarding call. You are going to be in the best of care with white glove service. You will have access to me throughout the course of the program, and you are going to start to feel better very quickly. In week 2, we're going to start actually running your labs. So you're going to get all the information you need to run these at-home labs. You don't have to visit a doctor. You don't have to visit a test center. Everything is at home. You're going to get another one-to-one call where we meet with each other and talk to each other face-to-face on Zoom. And then as the rest of the course, weeks 1 through 12, you are going to get another brand new suggested week 2 meal plan, recipes, and shopping list. In week 2, our master classes are on periods, progesterone, and birth control. In week 3, you get another one-to-one call. Our master classes are on why hormones break down in perimenopause and what we can do about it. In week 4, we actually have our first results and recommendations call. So this is a longer Zoom call. It's where I teach you everything that you need to know about your own lab results on those tests that we are doing. We also have master classes on digestive complaints, sleep, and estrogen dominance. Ooh, ugly. We have our second results and recommendations call in week 5. And sometimes we have a little bit of wiggle room with our weeks, just depending on when you run the test. For example, the Dutch test has to be run day 19 and 20 or 20 and 21 of your menstrual cycle. Day 1 is the first day of your bleed. So we would count out from there, run the test like day 19 and 20. And if you don't have a normal menstrual cycle, that's something you and I would work together on to figure out when we're going to test. But regardless, that's 50% of my clients that don't have a normal menstrual cycle. So we can absolutely test, at the right time for you. But sometimes our results and recommendations call might be, brought up a week or pushed back a week or two, just depending on when we get your test results back. Our master classes in week 5 are on how to improve gut health and on probiotics, sugar, and more. In week 6, we have our third results and recommendations call. You'll get your meal plan, shopping list, and recipes. And our master classes are on hormone disrupting toxins, reducing exposure to these toxins, and fixing hormonal stress. In week 7, we're back to our one-to-one check-in calls. And during our results and recommendations section, that's also a check-in. We're really working on your program, on your progress. So it's not just the lab test results we go over. It's a true coaching call. In week 7, though, we're just back to our regular check-in calls. So our master classes in week 7 are on, hormone disrupting toxins. I might have had a little, yep. Week 7's a little bit different, just so you know. It's still on, hormones though, and toxins. I just might have to go back and update that slide, but no, it's brand new material for week 7. Now in week 8, we have a one-to-one check-in call. We also have master classes all about the libido, talking to your doctor about your libido and more on the libido. Week 9, we get into autoimmunity, and a lot of my women with, exhaustion are going to test positive for Epstein-Barr. That's something we can always add on and do. A lot of my women know that they had mono when they were young. And so, this really hits home for them, especially if they're struggling with exhaustion. We talk a lot about autoimmunity and the immune system. In week 10, we are focusing on adrenal fatigue and HPA axis dysfunction, exhaustion, and stress. And of course, you have your one-to-one check-in call. Week 11, same call. We are going to meet via Zoom. And then our master classes are on why diets don't work. You learned a little bit about that today, but you're going to learn more in week 11. We're going to talk about hormone healthy exercise, hormones, and weight. We're going to figure out your hormone body type and how you should be eating and how you should be exercising for your hormone body type. We're going to talk a little bit more about hormone body type in week 12, but then we're going to dive into heart rate variability and self-care and a healthy mindset. You have your check-in call, and then we talk about offboarding and your next steps. Now, I usually tell clients like by week 12, you should not need me anymore. You will have all of the information. You will have all of the, resources that you need in order to feel great on your own. But of course, there are, possibilities to continue working together. Since you stayed this long and since I love lab testing, I actually am going to throw in an extra bonus for you. So please mention these bonuses when you set up your call, with me or my team as we talk about whether or not you're a good fit for our program, because this brain wellness panel plus a results and recommendation session. So an extra results and recommendation session is a $997 value for this like really fantastic lab test. And then all of the expertise that goes along with it in implementing what it is we're going to do. This is another at-home test. This looks for things like serotonin and dopamine and histamine, reasons why you might be struggling with panic attacks or anxiety or depression or mood swings. I love getting a look at the brain. And this is a very simple at-home test that gives us a lot of information on your brain. So this is one of the bonuses you get if you do book, our program. Oh, there's another one. So we also have a HIPAA compliant app. So this is the Get Healthy app, and you get unlimited texting privileges for 3 full months. Imagine having someone like me in your back pocket. Anytime you have a question, anytime you have a comment, anytime you have a fear or anxiety or question about your hormones or your program, you just hop on the app and you text me. And I check this twice a day. So I will get back to you, in the morning or afternoon of that business day with the answer to your question. We do have voice chat as well as text chat. So it couldn't be easier to stay in contact with me during the duration of your program. I love giving this white glove service to my clients because I want you to be as educated, as empowered, as informed as possible. And getting to, do this one-to-one contact with me for 3 full months is really, really, powerful. It is probably way more than a $997 value, but that's about what it would cost if I were to offer this as a standalone service. You actually have another bonus too. So I want you to start your program off right. I've had at least 65 clients go through this 5-pound detox challenge. It's 7 days. It will help you lose 5 pounds quickly and healthily and get you ready and primed for our program. So you actually get this. It is a $300 value, $297 value, if I'm being very specific, as part of your program. So you will get this to start off and quickly lose, 5 to 7 pounds before we even get into those labs. Another extra bonus I have for you, man, I'm just throwing out bonuses, our dining out guide. So even if you can't cook, I'm going to show you exactly what to order for health, for energy, and for hormone balance as you are out and about during your busy life. I want to introduce you very quickly to Kristen and Kenzie. So Kristen's here on the left-hand side. She is so cute. And she reported in the last few months of working together, she's had 0 hot flashes. She's also sleeping through the night, and she's not having panic attacks. More than that, for anyone who has struggled with this, she's not obsessing about her diet. Have you been there? I've been there. Kristen's mom told her, I don't know what Jennifer did, but you're a different person. And Kristen says she's happier. So I love, love, love that success story. And you can see it there, like in her photos, she lost quite a bit of weight and she truly is happier, not just because she lost weight, because she's not having panic attacks. She's sleeping and she's not obsessing about her diet. There's Kenzie and her adorable baby. Oh my gosh, that baby is so cute. I just want to squeeze those cheeks. And Kenzie reported in just the first month, and this is why I can tell you, changes happen in the very first month. In the first month, as we started working together, Kenzie had her first regular cycle without birth control in 5 years. She lost 20 pounds in a month. I have to tell you, that's not normal. Okay. Don't expect that you're going to come into my program and lose 20 pounds, but people have in the first month. Kenzie says her hormones are healthy. Her Crohn's symptoms were actually at bay. She doesn't suffer from the side effects of birth control and synthetic hormones. And she's confident in her body's ability to function and heal when she treats it right. And this is for a woman who suffered from Crohn's disease. 3 months later, she's down a total of 30 pounds, and she reports having the energy to do the work she needs to do, plus extra energy, which she needs now that she's a mama. So let's recap. Here is what you get as part of Easy Perimenopause. You get 12 one-to-one Zoom sessions. Now, 3 of those are a little bit longer. Those are your results and recommendation sessions. So 12 total Zoom sessions. 9 of those are 15 minutes long for our check-in calls. And then 3 of those are 30 minutes long for our results and recommendations. You get 3 functional lab tests. Scratch that. You get 4 functional lab tests, including the Dutch test for comprehensive hormones, the GI map at-home stool test, the hair tissue mineral analysis, and if you do mention this training, you will have the Neurogistics brain wellness panel as well. You get 90 master classes. Now that hopefully is not overwhelming. It should be empowering. You're going to learn everything you need to know about perimenopause. My classes are only between 5 and 10 minutes long, so it might seem like it's a lot, but they're just little bite-sized content pieces for you to stay in, that kind of knowledge acquiring state as you're going through easy perimenopause. I want you to have just a little bit of content, every day or every couple of days so that you can stay on top of that educational piece and really feel empowered. Those are optional. If you feel like the master classes are something you don't want to do, that's totally fine. I'm not going to grade you or quiz you, but they are a resource that is available there that many, many women have gone through and found them incredibly valuable. You get 12 brand new full weekly suggested meal plans, recipes, shopping list, full color meal plan that can be adjusted for your family size. And then you get unlimited one-to-one chat support for 90 days. So that is a lot. It's what I love to do for my clients. I, again, love providing that really personalized white glove service because I'm super motivated to help you feel better. And I want plenty of support for you, my client, so that we make the most amount of progress in the quickest amount of time so you can feel better and serve your family. I do only take 4 clients at a time. You can see with the amount of attention to my clients as I give, I can't take more than 4 clients at a time. So I do encourage you to book a call with me or my team so we can talk about whether or not you are the right fit for our program. If you do book a call, you actually get $1,000 off the program price. I don't know how long I'm going to offer that for, but $1,000 off the program price for now because you are still here and I can see that you're committed. Remember also, you get that extra $1,000 worth of lab testing, that $1,000 worth of one-to-one unlimited text chat, and all sorts of fun resources to really help you feel, really empowered and educated and accountable in your program. Now, of course, I'm a mom of 4 kids. So I will tell you that payment plans are available. We are willing to work with you on your finances. But the program is an investment. It is not cheap. It is not covered by insurance. We're going to go over that in just a second, but I can tell you it's worth it. So here's what you're going to save. If you don't go to a functional medicine doctor, which I have, and it's upwards of $2,500, for those 90 days when you have your initial session, you go back once a month, you have your final session, you're doing all the medications, you're doing all the supplements, you're doing all the lab testing, blah, blah, blah. That is at least $2,500, probably more out of your pocket because functional medicine doctors, guess what? Don't take insurance either. It's saving you $1,000 in random supplements. And that's probably not even generous. I'm sure I spend way more. In fact, I know I spend more than that on supplements any given year, even over the course of 90 days. When I'm not testing, when I'm just looking at something from Instagram or Facebook and I'm like, oh, I need to try that. Maybe it'll help me with XYZ. So it's going to save you $1,000 in random supplements. It's going to save you $5,000 in therapy and counseling. I mean, that's maybe insurance covers it. Maybe it's out of pocket. But over the course of a year, what you can spend with a marriage and family therapist or a counselor or psychiatrist, is a lot of money. And if we can test your brain and actually figure out what imbalances you have, if we can test your minerals and figure out what imbalances you have, if we can get your mood stabilized by stabilizing your hormones, you can save a lot of money on therapy and counseling. This is going to help you with that Ozempic shot that is not covered by insurance. And so, my friends out of pocket are paying between $700 and $900 a month to lose weight. Now, I can show you, and we didn't even go into this research, but research does show that getting a sufficient amount of protein actually activates the exact same enzymes and hormones in the body, specifically GLP-1 and PYY, that Ozempic acts on. So you do not need Ozempic in order to lose Ozempic amounts of weight. So that's going to save you $8,400 menopause. The other thing that you've probably done before that I've done is something like Isagenix or Arbonne or Optavia. That's at least $360 a month. So it's going to save you almost $4,000 a year for those weight loss programs that, as we saw today in the presentation, the weight just comes back on, within 12 months. So you are going to save by doing this program a total of over $20,000. And I do have a satisfaction guarantee. Like, I take pride in my work. I love helping women feel better. If you do not see significant resolution of your main complaints and symptoms by the time you graduate the program in 3 months, and of course, you've completed the steps on your end, you've done the interventions for diet and rest and exercise and stress management and proper supplementation, you've run all the labs, you're actually going to receive free weekly coaching until you're satisfied with your results. So I will stand behind that guarantee and make sure that you are supported and accountable and encouraged until you actually feel better. Let's just quickly go over some frequently asked questions. I'm not a doctor. I don't diagnose, treat, or prescribe. I don't take insurance, but if you do have flexible savings accounts or healthcare savings account funds that are your very own, like you have a debit card or a debit account, then you can actually use these for my services and for your supplements and for your lab testing. Question I get a lot: how do I talk to my husband about this? Right? Like, you want to run this past your husband if you're going to be investing, a larger amount of money. I will tell you what swayed my husband. He's a fan of the following: firm data, which we get with the lab test, a plan, which you have 90 days of an absolute plan to get you to a happier, healthier perimenopause. My husband is also a fan of a happy wife. It makes his life much easier. So promising him, but then following through on being more balanced and stable, having a healthier libido, having more energy to serve him and my family was a really big draw for him, and is something that, really allowed my very cynical, data-driven husband to support me and my business and what I do even to this day and beyond. What if I've actually tried everything? And this is a question I get a lot. And this is probably something that's really heavy on your heart. Like, you have tried everything. You've probably dieted and exercised your way, here's the kicker, into sympathetic nervous system dominance. So you actually haven't tried everything. You've tried harder, but you haven't tried different. So if you give Easy Perimenopause a try, you're going to see and learn how you can balance out your nervous system so you can actually start to make progress with your health and your hormones. What if I can't add one more thing to my crazy life? I have to tell you, girl, that is my specialty. This team works with busy, overwhelmed mamas who work in the house and out of the house. We have dozens, hundreds of life hacks to help you navigate this program during super busy, overwhelming times. And of course, what if I can't afford this program? I got to tell you, I used to think the same thing. I had this scarcity mindset, but it wasn't until I invested my resources and hired expert coaches that I got sober, that I stopped drinking after, I started drinking when I was 15 years old. So over 22 years of being, probably too reliant on alcohol. It wasn't until I hired my sober coach that I got sober. And I've been sober now for almost 2 years. In fact, a week from tomorrow, it'll have been 2 years. It wasn't until I hired an expert coach that I lost 15 pounds. Also, another coach helped me keep a business solvent through COVID. And I also started a strength training program. So now I feel confident lifting heavy weights and recomposing my body. Never would have done that on my own. So I have to tell you, knowledge, hiring someone who can get you to the place you need to go in the quickest amount of time with the best possible efforts, this is a money saving power. And do realize, payment plans again are available. I have 2, 3, and 4 month payment plans available for you. So really you can afford this program. Another question: how long until I see, my sleep change, my weight change, my energy change, my periods change? Well, I can tell you that most of my clients will see a meaningful change within as little as 2 weeks. But hormones do take about 3 months to change. And it's not until you get out of fight or flight mode that your weight's going to shift. So the faster we can work on stress management, the faster we can work on, your nervous system rebalancing, the faster you're going to see that weight loss. How long do I have access to the program? Well, as long as, I am here on this platform, you are going to have access to the program modules and then all updates that I put in there for life. You are going to get 12 one-to-one appointments over 3 months, and you're going to get unlimited chat communication with me for 3 months. So that one-to-one service is going to be 90 days that you'll have access to, but all of the master classes and the meal plans you're going to have for life. Now, again, continuing monthly support at the end of your program is also available. So another Kristen, this is one of my fantastic past clients who said, I could literally talk to you for hours about all the struggles I've had with hormones, endometriosis, something a lot of my clients struggle with, extreme pelvic pain, fibroids, cysts, multiple surgeries, and even having an ovary removed. In our work together, her symptoms have either subsided or they've been very minimal by God's grace. Like, what a blessing, to have all of those struggles and have most of them just fall away by taking great care of herself. So some of our real results here, we've got, some of the ladies we've already visited. We also have Julie here. I love this picture of Julie, not only because you can see the amount of weight that she's lost and the fact that her belly's gone down so much, but because she has her toilet in the background. We also have Amanda up here, and Amanda's always beautiful, but you can see here, how she just felt not healthy, not happy. Like, she's wearing all black. She is trying to smile, but can't quite smile. And then after going through the program, you can see here, she's lost a considerable amount of weight and her smile looks real. She's standing between two of her favorite people, her son and her daughter, but she just is happy. She's balanced. It worked. She's feeling good. I want to remind you, if this girl, this mom of 4 children who is very busy and also overwhelmed, can do this and lose weight and sleep through the night and have energy and balanced periods in perimenopause, you can do this too. So I would encourage you, take a moment, and I want you to book a call with us, with me or my team, so we can see if you are a good fit for easy perimenopause. If you want to feel better, if you want to balance your hormones in this really kind of nebulous time of hormonal transition, we would love to chat with you. So thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. You are going to get a download of how to get that 7-day perimenopausal meal plan, and we really hope to see you in one of our discovery calls. Have a wonderful day and be well.